I had spent years writing what became known as the Biden crime bill. The Biden crime bill. The Biden crime bill.
Democrats right now, especially African Americans, have really looked back on the 1994 crime bill not very fondly. Hillary Clinton herself has come out against it, even though her husband signed it into law. Well, the author of that crime bill was Joe Biden.
What's going on, America? This is Kevin from Kevin's Corner, and welcome to part 4 of What You Don't Know About Joe. As a subtitle, what if? Anyway, let's get it. So, as you saw in the opening clip, it appears that Joe Biden, when it comes down to his history in politics, he don't have a lot of accomplishments, but one he does have that he's very proud of. I guess this was back in the day when Joe was serious about, crime and all that stuff. So he came up with some legislation that would focus on crime. Now I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, this can't be the Joe I know and love, the one that said that anybody that gets caught with a drug charge should never go to prison or jail. It seems that he's changed his tone. Now, let's go back and listen how aggressive, how adamant this man was about punishing criminals and crime back then. See, I guess, over time, it's like a parent who they're tough on their kids when they're young, and then the kids get older, they have kids, and then it's like they're real easy on the grandchildren. The kids going, what happened? I mean, you was giving me the business. Now you never say anything to them. Man, I was different. So I guess it's different now. So let's get into it. Let's check out this first clip.
Crime bill.
Biden's 1994 crime bill, while implementing sweeping gun control, also helped fuel mass incarceration with financial incentives to keep people behind bars.
The Biden crime bill. The Biden crime bill.
The Biden crime bill is before us. Calls for the death penalty for 51 offenses. A wag in the newspaper recently wrote that something to the effect that Biden has made it a death penalty offense for everything but jaywalking.
So, if I'm understanding this correctly, there was an incentive for locking folks up. Now, wait a minute, that doesn't seem right. I mean, why would you want to give someone an incentive to lock folks up? That means that your decision-making when it comes down to punishing this person might be a little skewed. It might be a little off because in the back of your head, you might be thinking if I give this person a harsh sentence, I might get some kickbacks, some donations or something like that. So it sounds to me like Joe Biden picked a group of people, a demographic of people that he said, you know what? I'm now going to rise up and get real tough on these people, which a large majority of those people just happen to be the same group of people that Joe Biden loves so much and the Democrats love so much, and the same group of people that they're painting big old murals on the street, letting them run around and do anything they want, protest, tear up stuff, almost untouchable at this point, and that is none other than black people. The ones that they've been pandering to. Now, how is Joseph Biden going to explain why he wrote forth this bill, this legislation that punished all the wonderful people that he just loved? And back then, he was harsh on them, and now he's saying, man, you should never go to jail for these things. So here you have it. This man is talking about how, hey, we need to get tough on these folks. And then he even goes a little further. He starts talking real reckless. Something about the death penalty? Let's check and make sure we're hearing this properly.
The Biden crime bill. Biden crime bill.
The Biden-Hatch crime bill, as it becomes law, God willing, I hope that we will have ended once and for all this notion that is a hangover from the 60s, that somehow Democrats are weak on crime and Democratic presidents are weak on crime and Republicans are tough on crime. The truth is, every major crime bill since 1976 that's come out of this Congress, every minor crime bill has had the name of the Democratic senator from the state of Delaware, Joe Biden, on that bill.
Now, did y'all hear that? I mean, wow. This is a huge change from the old 1993 Joe Biden and the 2020 Joe Biden. I mean, this man was just talking about getting rid of all types of stereotypes and rumors about the Democratic Party being soft on crime. Yeah, he was about to make a statement back then and let everybody know that, man, if you don't know now, you know, Democrats don't play, especially me. Creepy, sleepy, slimy, sloppy Joe. But now, what has happened? Has Joe backslidden? Now, all of a sudden, when he don't have an incentive to lock black folks up, he decides to become very, very casual on crime. I guess now the new incentive is to backslide and go back to when Democrats were viewed as soft on crime, because all of their cities right now are completely out of control. And Joe Biden, he's not strong enough. He's not coming out saying, we need to stop all these people from doing this stuff. If we need to give the death penalty. I'm going to dispel the rumors that Democrats are soft on crime. Right now, you're fulfilling the stereotype, Joe, as all these Democrat cities just burn and crash. Police being defunded, all of that stuff. Where's the old Joe Biden at? What would be his motive for changing all that up now? Because he was talking real tough back then. I don't know. We better go ahead and dig a little bit deeper into this, because, see, we want to know everything we need to know about Joe. I mean, is he lying back then? I don't know. I mean, do we need to start calling him Pinocchio Joe Biden? I think we might. Let's check it out.
I like the idea they keep in jail longer. I'm the guy that wrote the bill requiring federal judges to keep people in jail 100% of the time for which they're sentenced, and the notable exceptions only 85%. So I'm all for tougher enforcement.
So No Mercy Joe, as I listen to that clip, is talking about I like making sure folks get locked up for this stuff. In fact, I want federal judges to make them serve at least 100% of their time. At the minimum 80, I think he said maybe 85 or something like that. But man, this was not the Joe I was expecting when I found these clips. I'm gonna be honest with you. This guy right here sounds like he is adamant about getting all these riffraff, these vagabonds, these lower poverty-stricken, crime-ridden folks off the streets. Whereas now, they're letting folks out of prison, out of jail, because they don't want them to get COVID and all that stuff. Where's the tough guy? Where's that Joe Biden that was not locking these people up because they were, he was getting money or kickbacks, but he was doing it because he was trying to help the black community. He understood the struggles that they all go through, and like all Democrats who love black people, and is able to see the condition that their policies put a lot of these black peoples in when it comes down to the inner city and all of that stuff. He's giving these helpful suggestions on how to help bring them out of these conditions. Let's go ahead and finish and listen to Joe Biden tell us the solution to solving all of the struggles that go on in the black community and all that crime that's just running rampant back then. Let's check it out.
Rewrote the statute saying burning the flag in and of itself is a crime, period. Boom.
We changed.
Now, wait just a minute. This man, Joe Biden, now, did you hear what he said? We wrote the statute that burning the flag was a crime. Boom. I mean, this ain't the joke that all the liberals know and love right now. The same flag that all of these folks are burning right now, the same flag that Colin Kaepernick is taking a knee to along with all the other athletes, the idiots. Kudos goes out to the ones that refuse to bend the knee. Is he talking about that flag? Is he talking about the same flag that patriots are trying to hang on to and love, but the liberals and the communists and the fascists and the Marxists are all running around carrying, Russia flags and all kind of stuff and wanting to destroy capitalism? What happened to the same patriotic Joe? What happened to the Joe that just loved American values and the flag and was hard on them? Yeah, that's back when he loved his country. Because right now, if I was to take that clip, update it, bring it to 2020 and play it, all of these liberals would condemn this man. Listen to this fascist try to say something about we should be judged because we burn the flag. They would have a fit. But nobody's talking about all of this and stuff. I guess, and you know what? When it comes down to Democrats, their past, the stuff they did, it all gets swept right under the rug. And so let's move on, because I'm sure that the media is going to be asking Joe about these things later on, and he probably has a great explanation. Let's check it out.
The law so that if you are arrested and you are a drug dealer, under our forfeiture statutes, the government can, take everything you own, everything from your car to your house, your bank account, not merely what they confiscate in terms of the dollars from the transaction that you just got caught engaging in. They can take everything. We have laws in the last several years where we don't allow judges discretion to sentence people. Flat time sentencing. You get caught, you go to jail. We've gone from there all the way up to saying, under the leadership of Senator Thurmond, and I'd like to suggest that I take some small credit for it myself as well, and others, the presiding officer, that there is now a death penalty. And we passed it a couple years ago. If you are a major drug dealer involved in the trafficking of drugs and murder results in your activities, you go to death. And a number of other severe penalties.
Excuse me, Mr. Creepy, Sleepy, Sleazy, Sneaky, Slimy, Sloppy Joe. I'm here to do the job that the funky, crooked, stinking, dirty liberal media won't do by asking you some questions about your 1993-94 crime bill. We have some video footage of you saying things like, you know what, we've changed the law, I'm proud of this bill, and we're going to make sure we confiscate all of these drug dealers' property and money. And also, you mentioned something about the death penalty. Mr. Creepy, we noticed that many of the same black people that you claim you love and support nowadays were people you locked up. And it appears that now you went from being extremely over tough on crime to very passive concerning crime. Do you still feel that way about the flag? Do you still feel that way about all these unfortunate drug dealers that are violent and need to be removed off the street? Please, could you answer that for us, Creepy? No? Okay, let's continue the program.
When Bill Clinton's crime bill passed, Joe Biden was such an outspoken supporter, he said, quote, "I'd like to be running and have someone use the crime bill against me."
We must take back the streets. It doesn't matter whether or not the person that is accosting your son or daughter or my son or daughter, my wife, your husband, my mother, your parents. It doesn't matter whether or not they were deprived as a youth. It doesn't matter or not whether or not they had no background that enabled them to become socialized into the fabric of society. It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society. The end result is they're about to knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe, shoot my sister, beat up my wife, take on my sons. So I don't want to ask what made them do this. They must be taken off the street. That's number one. There's a consensus on that.
Excuse me, Mr. Creepy, I'm back. That's right. You can always tell when I'm back because I put my nerd glasses on. Now I'm about to ask questions that the media should be asking. Mr. Creepy, in this clip you were saying it doesn't matter these people's backgrounds when they're accosting your mother, your brother, your sister, your kids, all of that stuff. Those things shouldn't be taken into consideration. And we have to take back the streets, quote, end quote. Do you still feel the same way about that? Because right now in New York and Chicago and Minneapolis and I think some other liberal cities, the streets have been taken over by Antifa, rioters. They're attacking people. In fact, we've seen much footage of these rioters beating up old people, white people, even sometimes black people. Lots of people are being shot, and you're very tough on President Trump as he's trying to take back the streets from all of these people. I mean, it appears that Trump doesn't care about these people's background and their political beliefs. I mean, because he's trying to uphold the law. Whereas you sounded like you were trying to do that back then. Do you still feel that way, Creepy? Okay, I'll wait for your response. Okay. This is Kevin, Real News, reporting live here, speaking to Creepy, Sleepy, Slappy, Slimy, but he's not answering any of our questions. Let's go back to the clips, Jim.
Unless we do something about that cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing, because they literally, I yield myself 3 more minutes, because they literally have not been socialized. They literally have not had an opportunity. We should focus on them now.
Now, I wonder who he's talking about. He said, unless we do something about these young people, tens and thousands of them, born out of wedlock, ain't been, we don't have social skills. Those tens and thousands of people, it sounds to me like Joe Biden might just be victim shaming. Now, this right here is a little bit peculiar to me because, see, as I listen to the new updated version of the Democrats and the liberal logic, everything he's saying sounds real stereotypical and racist. Who is he referring to? All these tens of thousands of kids or young people born out of wedlock, don't have 2 home parents and all that stuff. Is he referring to black folks? I'm just curious because, see, I thought that black folks could do no wrong in the Democrats' eyes, that they love black folks. Now, as I look at the majority of folks that are born into 1-parent homes, most of them are black. Yeah, the 1-parent home ratio has skyrocketed when it comes down to blacks, all after Democratic policies were introduced to the black neighborhoods, which, if that's what he's talking about, I'm starting to get a little concerned. As a black man, as a voter, as a black voter, I'm going, now, wait a minute, Joe, who you talking about, man? The same folks that y'all helped put in that condition, you're telling me that Joe Biden used this crime bill to lock them up and make sure that they serve at least 100%, maybe 80%, 85% of their time, and probably had a lot of incentive for doing it. I mean, is he talking about us, the black people that's probably going to be voting for this dude? Do they know that? Excuse me, brothers and sisters, have y'all been hip to these clips? If not, you need to check this out and take an account of all of this reckless talk that Joe had back then. Okay? Because, see, my gut tells me most of them are going to rush down to the polls and vote because they've been brainwashed that Donald Trump is a racist, misogynist, sex. I don't recall any legislation that Trump put forth to lock young black men and women up. I don't hear Trump talking about some 1-parent homes. It don't matter. I don't care about all that stuff. You mean to tell me Joe ain't taking into consideration all of the backdrop and background of these black folks? I thought Democrats specialize in understanding victims, but right there, he don't seem very sensitive. So then my question to all those liberals, white liberals, black angry people who's mad for nothing, does he get a pass? If that was Trump that had footage of him talking like this, I mean, y'all was mad because Trump talked about low-income housing messing up the housing value for people who live in the suburbs. But this guy says this and nothing? I'm starting to get a little suspicious of your moral outrage and condemnation of Trump. Are you about to fall into the big old fat bowl of hypocrisy? Let's continue.
If we don't, they will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now. And, Madam President, we have predators on our streets that society has, in fact, in part because of its neglect, created. Again, it does not mean because we created them that we somehow forgive them or do not take them out of society to protect my family and yours from them. They are beyond the pale, many of those people. Beyond the pale. And it's a sad commentary on society. We have no choice but to take them out of society. And the truth is, we don't very well know how to rehabilitate them at that point. That's the sad truth. I'm the guy that said, rehabilitation, when it occurs, we don't understand it. Notice.
Now, could Joe Biden be talking about those predators that Hillary Clinton was talking about? Super predators that need to be brought to heel? How could they be saying things about their precious black people? I just don't get that. I mean, shoot. Nobody ever sticks a mic in their face and asks them, who are you referring to, Mr. Joe Biden? I mean, this man right here is talking about, yeah, they don't have a conscience or nothing. And, 15 years from now, they're going to become these predators. I mean, shoot, we go ahead and fast forward all the way up until now. I mean, heck, are these the same predators that Joe Biden's referring to? Just running around? Because, see, I thought he locked most of them up during the crime bill. But now Joe, for some reason, he done backed all the way up when it comes down to that, which I'm just shocked. I'm shocked as I listen to this. This does not sound like today's Joe Biden. This man right here seems like he got a itch that needs to be scratched. He's going after these inner city super predators with no conscience, full steam ahead. He's out there talking about we need to do something. Society done messed these young adults up, but hey, it's too late. Too late to fix them because they're broken. Now, my question to Joe is, was it society that forsook these young black predators with no conscience and no social skills? Or was it democratic policies that have done that and are still doing that? Let's continue with our efforts to learn more about creepy, sleepy, slimy, sloppy, Pinocchio Joe Biden. Let's continue.
Bobby Rush, member of Congress, said the other day, I'm ashamed that I voted for the '94 crime bill. You ashamed of that bill?
Not at all. And in fact, I drafted the bill.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. More information you might not know about Joe. This man is not repentant. This man was proud of that bill. Not at all. Shoot. It's one of my only work. Well, actually, it is my only legislation that, how do I explain this to all these black and Latino and other minority voters that I've been running around telling them I love them and all that stuff, and there should be no penalties when it comes down to drugs and all that stuff. And the only legislation I have to stand on is the crime bill to lock most of those black young men and Latino young men up in prison. Wow. Do the liberals know about this? I'm wondering, do all of these Antifa folks and Black Lives Matter know about this? And if they do, you say what to all of this? That's what I want to know. So for every angry, upset, mad for nothing, racially sensitive black person or Latino or otherwise, or even white liberals who watches this video and still says, well, so what? Trump's worse than that. I don't see Trump's policies putting black men. In fact, I think it was Trump's policies that are getting some of these folks that he locked up out of prison. Think about that. Now, you've been listening to Kevin and Kevin's Corner, where I try to make sense out of nonsense. So don't forget, check out Extreme Teas, my sponsor. If you like their products, click on the link below. Put Kevin in the promo code. You'll get a 20% discount. Also, don't forget to check me out every Wednesday night, live in Kevin's Corner on Facebook, YouTube, and my radio blog talk show. If you want to donate to Kevin and Kevin's Corner, feel free. There's a link below the video to do that. And let me think what else. I think that might be it for now. I probably forgot something. Oh, don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, and the notification button. Make sure you're still subscribed and your notifications are set to all. And we'll see y'all next time in Kevin's Corner, probably with part 5 of what you don't know about Joe. God bless.